Chapter 1121 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng sat in his throne, gazing down at the black mass of peculiar life forms kneeling below. These thousands of peculiar life forms' eyes were filled with excitement, worship. This made Luo Feng immediately realize, these seemingly powerful and rare peculiar life forms had a tragic point, they were just too weak. Because of their extremely high life forms, natural talents and techniques, they lured the trillions of races in the universe to attack and enslave or steal them. If a group of peculiar life forms didn't have a powerful protector, then they would very quickly be ripped apart by the trillions of races in the universe. Devoured. Back then, the Blood Cloud leader roamed the universe. Back then, the number of peculiar life forms wasn't small. When he saw some of them being killed, he felt pity and saved group after group of them. Finally they gathered together to form these thousands of peculiar life forms. After countless years of growth. With the Mountain Guest's guidance, the Black Sky Lord, Silver-Horned Knight and Siwu, these pinnacle overlords were born. If it was back then, they too would have been hunted down. Of course, after countless years, the peculiar life forms without protectors had long vanished from the universe's history. Hence, the ancient beings like the primal Chaos City leader etc. had quite a few peculiar life forms. However, as time went on and it reached Luo Feng's era, it was too difficult to find another life form to steal. Mountain Guest protects them and guides them. Just like their father, Luo Feng thought, no wonder they all call him master, yet respect and worship him from the bottom of their hearts. Double quote. From today onwards, I'm the Blood Cloud Hall Master. Although I have gained such a powerful force, I also have another responsibility in addition to the earth. Luo Feng thought. This was indeed a force that made the universe powers envious. 3 pinnacle overlords. Especially the Black Sky Lord, his god energy purity was close to 100 times stronger than Xian Heng's. Even with the same high-level armor, Luo Feng needed 2 levels of attack to achieve the same result as Xian Heng's, and the Black Sky Lord's body was even more than 1,000,000 km tall. Its size was trillions of times that of Xian Heng's body that was less than 10 meters tall. Silver-Horned Knight and Siwu, even though their bodies aren't as exaggerated, they aren't small either. With the 3 of them here, unless they encounter a Lord of the Universe, this special life form force will be able to resist them. Luo Feng nodded to himself. Protecting such a power wasn't as difficult as protecting Earth. The special life forms had grown for countless years and had the ability to protect themselves. Luo Feng suddenly understood. Why were there so many precious materials, treasures and normal treasures in the treasury? After all, Luo Feng's future opponent would be a Universe Lord, normal treasures would shatter in a Universe Lord level battle. Clearly, these normal treasures weren't left for Luo Feng, but for these special life forms. Black Sky. Luo Feng said. Master. Black Sky Lord said honestly. The 18 of you, tell me your treasures. Luo Feng gazed below. Yes, I have a high-grade treasure armor and 6 high-grade treasure divine hammers. Black Sky Lord laughed. Master, are you going to bestow me with a peak-grade treasure armor? Last time, you even said, that the next time, you would think of a way to get me a top-grade armor treasure. You said that if I had a top-grade armor treasure, even the Lord of the Universe would have a hard time killing me. Double quote. Luo Feng was shocked. A top-grade treasure armor? The treasury his teacher left him only had over 100 normal treasures. Teacher Mountain Passenger is too sinister. Now that I've inherited the position of Blood Cloud leader, the responsibility of giving the strongest under me treasures is on my shoulders. Luo Feng cursed within, but there was nothing he could do. I'm thinking of a way. A top-grade armor treasure isn't easy to get. Luo Feng said. Yes, however Master will definitely be able to do it. Black Sky Lord said. Next. Luo Feng ordered. Silver Dragon Knight, Thorn Crow Demon Leader and the others all reported their treasures. Luo Feng realized that these 18 knights all had treasures, and they were obviously chosen according to their strength. Like the 3 top universe lords, they all had high-level treasures, and each had several of them. Luo Feng, who originally planned on giving them treasures, gave up on that idea. In the end, he only gave a few undying life forms and treasures, and the meeting ended. This is a power. Even though I have the responsibility of leading and protecting them, they can help me with many things too. Luo Feng thought, in the future, my Earth bloodline will naturally be protected by me. Black Sky Lord and his group of aberrations should be able to complement the Earth bloodline. Double quote. That day, Luo Feng ordered the aberrations to leave. He also sent an order to Black Sky Lord, Silver Dragon Knight and Thorn Crow Demon Leader. Black Sky, Silver Dragon and Thorn Crow, I'm going out for a while. I'll leave the matters of the children in the ancient Qin region to you guys. If there's anything you guys can't handle, inform me. Double quote. Yes. Yes, Master. The 3 replied through their tags. That day, the golden horned beast quietly returned to the human territory, back to the God country. From then on, Luo Feng's life was split into 2 parts. One was the golden horned beast studying the Star Tower using the engravings, the other was his Earth body training on Circus Island. The Earth body first started training the 8th level of the 9-level secret manual. The advantage of having a small god body was that it trained extremely quickly. In a year's time, Luo Feng completed the 8th level. His life genetic level grew from about 9,800 times to about 10,050 times. This was purely Luo Feng's estimation. Following which, Luo Feng continued training the 9th level of the 9 level. During the training, his life genetic level grew extremely slowly, especially when he was halfway through the 9th level. Suddenly, his life genetic level got stuck. It stopped when it was just a sliver away from the perfect gene. No matter how much the 9-level secret manual trained, his life genetic level didn't increase at all. Just a little bit more. The Netherworld Ocean clone and the Golden Horned Beast clone have both reached the perfect gene level, but my Earth body is only a sliver away from the perfect gene level. Why is it that halfway through the 9th level of the 9 Calamities manual, it's useless? Luo Feng was anxious. It was useless. No matter how much his training progressed, his life genetic level stagnated. Just a little bit more, what do you want me to do? The 3rd year on Circus Island. Luo Feng sat cross-legged on a stone bridge beside a pond in his mansion's courtyard. At this moment, he finally reached the final step of the 9-level secret manual. Regardless of whether it was the Golden Horned Beast or the Serene Sea clone, they had both attained perfect genes before even reaching the end. The Earth deity was the first to complete the 9 Calamities secret manual. Hua hua. Luo Feng sat there, but his entire body made the sound of the surging ocean. At the same time, his skin started to emit golden threads, and a huge mysterious and complicated engraving appeared on his body. If Luo Feng's entire skin was peeled off, the engraving formed, although it was different from the engraving formed by the words of the 9-level secret manual, the concept was the same. Peng. Luo Feng felt that his life source had a fundamental breakthrough, as though he had broken through a bottleneck. His life genetic level finally took another small step forward. It was just a small step, but it represented a fundamental breakthrough. I broke through. I broke through. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with joy. I have to go back to the God country. Luo Feng clearly felt that his god body was trying to absorb energy to grow, but there wasn't enough energy to absorb on Circus Island. He immediately teleported to the God country and quickly left Circus Island. In the God country, the endless tranquil sea stirred up huge waves that were hundreds of kilometers in height. Above the waves, a black-haired young man was standing naked in midair. Countless amounts of seawater surged up from below, wrapping around this black-haired young man like countless ribbons. They were constantly being absorbed by him. The black-haired youth began to grow bigger and bigger. From less than 2 meters tall, he began to rapidly grow taller and taller. 10 meters, 100 meters, 1,000 meters. The god's power in his god body also continued to increase, increasing by more than 1 trillion times. It had reached an incomparably turbulent and terrifying level. When he became a towering 90,000 kilometers tall, he finally stopped. From today onwards, my earth body and the golden horned beast will be my two main forces. Luo Feng smiled. Before, even though his earth body's purity was high, it was too small, causing him to be unable to unleash I'm the universe. And now, in terms of body, his earth body was the same as the golden horned beast. Naturally he could unleash even more power. Like unleashing the universe lord's golden light, he didn't have to worry about using up too much of his body's energy. It's time to make a trip to Primal Chaos City. That mountain beheading blade is too weak for me. Luo Feng first headed to Primal Chaos City to acquire the mountain beheading blade and the large amounts of normal treasures he had hunted on Primal Planet. Along with the 20 treasures in the Blood Cloud Palace treasure room, he accumulated them all, along with his remaining treasure points. Only then did he exchange for a top-level treasure blade, Sad9 Snow. The blade's original name was Sad9 Snow, however Luo Feng named it the Blood Shadow Blade. Black Sky, Silver Dragon, Thorn Crow, the 100 treasures in the treasure room were left behind by my teacher for you special life forms. However, those punks still need a long time to grow. I'll temporarily take a portion, I'll definitely get them back in the future. Luo Feng felt the pressure too. The bug race, automaton race and demon race were all getting restless. The stronger he was, the better. With the pinnacle of treasures, the Calamity armor, able to reach the 3rd level, weakening the enemy's attack by 1/100,000th, and a 90,000 kilometer long body, his natural survivability had reached a terrifying level. In a battle against a master of the universe, a high-level supreme treasure saber was clearly too weak. Leaving God Country and returning to Purple Thorn Island. The golden horned beast left from the engraving school, still studying the Star Pagoda engraving in God Country. Luo Feng's true body was quietly cultivating on Circus Island, constantly increasing his understanding of the way of the beast god. After all, the more he understood about the way of the beast god, the better it would be for his attainments in the mysterious pattern school. 61 years passed in the blink of an eye. Chapter 1122 Swallowed Star. On Bohinia Island. Look, Luo Feng has appeared and is flying towards the plaza in front of the island leader's palace. In one of the countless palaces on Circus Island, 2 demon undying beings were chatting. However, their gazes were locked on Luo Feng, who was flying in the distance. They didn't dare miss anything. Their mission was to monitor Luo Feng's every movement. After a while, Luo Feng entered the fountain and vanished. Only then did the 2 demon undyings relax. Expression, smiling. War, silver armor. The 2 swiftly checked each other's situation and made a detailed report. It's been so many years. By now all the large powers of the universe know that our demon race, bug race and automaton race all want to kill Luo Feng. However, up till now, there's been no movement at all. The demon with the green-gray turtle shell shook his head and said hoarsely, everyone says that Luo Feng has long reached the pinnacle of Universe Lord strength. If we don't make a move, when he breaks through to Universe Lord, it'll be too late for regrets. Don't blame the race. We can only blame Luo Feng for hiding on Bohinia Island. Our demon race, bug race and automaton race, what can we do? The black eye under the countless feathers stared at the distant plaza in front of the island leader's palace. However, it's weird, Why is Luo Feng still at the 5th level of the Beast God path? On Bohemia Island, the inheritors could challenge each other, the rankings were very clear. The 3rd level of the Beast God path was all on the same list. The 4th level of the Beast God path was all on the same list, and Luo Feng had entered the 5th level 62 years ago. Obviously he was training the 5th level of the Beast God path. This seemed very strong, however the pinnacle of Universe Lords should at least be at the 7th level, right? Stupid. He's the 5th level of the Beast God path, but do you even know what level his time-space path has reached? Who knows, he's almost at the limit, stepping into Universe Lord level. Double quote. That makes sense, however he's been training for such a short time, how can his comprehension of the origin laws be so fast? Who knows, if it wasn't for his terrifying speed, the race wouldn't be in such a rush to get rid of him. Look, he's out. The two demon undyings stared at the distant Luo Feng, continuing to observe his every movement. From the surface, they might be able to deduce some important information. Luo Feng flew back to his residence. There are at least 100 inheritors watching me right now. Luo Feng grinned. This made the inheritors from the various powers of the universe immediately record down the times when Luo Feng revealed a smile. I feel like I'll be able to comprehend the entire 5th level in a year or two. Luo Feng waited silently. Back then, it only took him half a month to comprehend the 4th level, which represented the claw of the Beast God. However, the 5th level of the Beast God path represented the Beast God's horn. It was even more profound and took up a lot more time. As studying it required a lot of time, Luo Feng usually took 2 to 3 months to go to the inheritance grounds. 62 years had passed, and it was only then that he could vaguely sense that he was close to mastering the 5th Dan. And as his Beast God path continued to improve, it made it much easier for Luo Feng to create techniques through the engraving system. Even as he studied the Star Pagoda, he was inspired to create a Universe Lord Pinnacle technique and a Universe Overlord Ultimate technique. Luo Feng named them Golden Mountain and Heavy Mountain. Right, no, Luo Feng had decent techniques. He had the Universe Lord's Ultimate Golden Light, the Universe Lord's Pinnacle Golden Mountain, the Universe Overlord's Ultimate Misty Light and Heavy Mountain. Of course these were secondary. The most important thing was his study of the Star Pagoda. Even though he was inspired to create 2 strong techniques, the Star Pagoda, Luo Feng could only activate the most basic 1st level engravings. As for the 2nd level, he had already understood more than half of it. However, he still needed a period of time before he could activate the 2nd level. Right now the Star Pagoda, I only know 1 attack pierce. As for the other smash, I'm afraid I'll need to completely comprehend the 2nd level of the engravings before I can unleash its power. I reckon it'll take a few more years. Luo Feng swiftly rushed down from mid-air, landing in his own mansion and continuing his peaceful life. Luo Feng knew too. This was the calm before the storm. The human race was constantly concerned about Luo Feng's movements. Luckily, this Luo Feng has always been on Circe Island. It's very safe. Primal Chaos, why did you let him out back then? If you left him in Primal Chaos City, wouldn't that be the safest? After all, he could still encounter great danger outside the human territory. Even though the ancestral god sect is very powerful, the bug race, monster race, automaton race, and the Northern Border Alliance all have strong warriors in the ancestral god sect. Once they join forces, they can definitely find a way to deal with Luo Feng. Double quote. When he wanted to go out back then, I naturally wouldn't stop him. He has a soul treasure, and his willpower is extremely strong. Even if he encounters a crisis he can't resist, he can still self-destruct. With his talent and clone ability, there's nothing to be afraid of. Double quote. The Dragon Leader and the Primal Chaos City Leader discussed. The Dragon Leader's worries were not wrong. Because Luo Feng had always been on Circus Island, the bug race, monster race, and automaton race were anxious. They didn't dare to send a universe lord over. Once they did, they would definitely be attacked by the five-color Aurora Lake and annihilated. It wasn't worth losing a universe lord just to kill someone who could become a primal Chaos City leader. Damn. This human Luo Feng, is he planning to stay on Circus Island forever? He's been on Circus Island for so long, and he hasn't done anything else. What he lacks now is cultivation. He must be trying to cultivate and meditate on Circus Island. He has such combat power, but his Dao of the Beast God isn't very profound. Then he must be almost perfect in the Dao of space and time, so he's practicing the Dao of the Beast God as a reference. Different Daos can learn from each other and maybe he'll finally make a breakthrough. Double quote. We can't waste time like this. The longer we wait, the better it will be for Luo Feng. The top three races were anxious. They wanted to wait for Luo Feng to leave Circus Island, but it seemed that he wouldn't leave at all. It had already been 62 years. How could he delay any longer? In the vast universe, in a starry sky. Three thoughts passed through the endless distance and landed in the starry sky. Three lofty figures could be vaguely seen. One of them was a beautiful and graceful figure surrounded by endless light. Just looking at her figure was enough to enchant a universe venerable. A gigantic, oval-shaped, black sphere shadow was floating in another place. The last figure was surrounded by thousands of vague snake shadows. A huge silver-white snake head looked around, and the starry sky around it was completely twisted into a vortex. Dream Tea, where's Hinjio? The huge black sphere asked. We're monsters. I can handle it. The silver-white snake head also said. Their voices were instantly transmitted to the other two parties. It seemed that the rule that the speed of light was the limit of the original universe didn't apply to them. Machine, you summoned the monsters and the Zerg. Now that the Zerg Queen and I are here, it's time to talk. Machine, speak. The faintly discernible figure also spoke. Okay. The black sphere said, a little guy named Luo Feng has appeared in the human race under the protection of Giant Axe. His strength is improving very fast, and he's been staying on Circus Island. If we let him go on like this, the human race will have one more powerful existence in the future. He also has the talent to create doppelgangers. It'll be difficult for us to kill him in the future. We must get rid of him as soon as possible. Double quote. Of course we must get rid of him as soon as possible, the slim figure said, her voice filled with endless charm. But how? That's the core of the ancestral god sect. The territory controlled by the ultimate treasure, the five-color lake, can't be entered without the permission of the ancestral god sect. Once the treasure is activated to attack, even the universe lord will die. And it's not just about the death of the universe lord. Trespassing into the core area of the ancestral god sect is against the rules. That's provoking the ancestral god sect. The consequences of provoking the ancestral god sect will be more severe than having another primal Chaos City leader. At least in the original universe the ancestral god sect is the guardian of the universe's rules. No one can beat it. Double quote. I agree with the Queen. Our monster race wants to get rid of them as soon as possible, but how? The silver snake head said. Our three races don't want to be enemies with the ancestral god sect, but, can't we just ask the lone traveler, the strongest in the universe? The black sphere said. We're worried because we have things to worry about. But those few lone travelers aren't afraid at all. The ancestral god sect can't do anything to them, and they have nothing to worry about. Naturally, they dare to trespass into the core area of the ancestral god sect. Even if they kill Luo Feng, what can the ancestral god sect do? Double quote. The strongest lone traveler in the universe. The silhouette and the silver snake head hesitated. That price won't be small, the silhouette said. to get the strongest lone traveler to the core area of the ancestral god sect to kill the absolute geniuses of humanity. This will offend the ancestral god sect and incur the hatred of Huge Axe. Even though those lone travelers don't care, the moment they are invited, the price will definitely be high. The Silver Snake Head said. Each of you give me 3 top treasures. I'll invite them. The Black Sphere said. 3 top treasures. The Silhouette and the Silver Snake Head hesitated. Following which, the Silhouette said, even if your automaton race gives me 3 more, a total of 9 treasures, that's equivalent to 1 pinnacle treasure. 1 pinnacle treasure, to invite a lone traveler's strongest in the universe to do such a thing, that's not easy. Who are you inviting? Mountain guest. Shihua Island leader? Horizontal ellipsis, double quote. No need to ask any further. Each of you give me 3 top treasures and I'll invite the strongest in the universe. If I can't invite him, then I'll return them. I won't go so far as to cheat you out of these 3 treasures. Double quote. All right, I agree. 3 treasures to get rid of the human Luo Feng, I'll agree too. The Silhouette and the Silver Snake Head said. Very good. That huge oval black sphere immediately vanished. Following which, the Silhouette and the countless silhouettes and the Silver Snake Head all vanished. The starry sky returned to its previous tranquility. Who would have known that the 3 strongest beings of the universe had once conversed here? Chapter 1123 Swallowed Star. On a vital planet in the human domain. A hunchbacked, green-skinned old man with tentacles stood in an alley of a bustling city. He stood in front of a dispirited young man. Child, you are so young and full of vigor. Your future is limitless. Why are you so dispirited, without any will to fight? The green-skinned old man spoke hoarsely. The dispirited young man sat on the ground, leaning against the wall. His eyes were filled with sorrow. He shook his head. There's no hope. There's no hope anymore. I've tried my best, but they are too strong. Although they aren't the strongest in the city, they aren't something an ordinary person like me can resist. They keep toying with me. They don't kill me because they treat me like a toy. Life is full of miracles. The green-skinned old man spoke hoarsely. Nothing is eternal. The universe is even more mysterious. Anything can happen. Is that so? The dispirited young man glanced at the green-skinned old man, then lowered his head and continued drinking. Yes, anything can happen. The green-skinned old man smiled and nodded. The dispirited young man was startled. He sat there in a daze, holding the bottle of wine. The smile on the old man's face grew wider and wider. 5 seconds later, the dispirited young man woke up. The dispirited young man's eyes were sharp, his aura completely different. He scanned the surroundings with vigilance, but when he saw this ordinary alley and the hunchbacked old man, he was stunned. He revealed a look of disbelief. How did I return to 100,000 years ago? I'm already a sector lord. What's going on? This is an illusion, it can't be so real, but, double quote. Child. The hunchbacked old man spoke. You are the dispirited young man stared at the hunchbacked old man. You're the old man who guided me back then? Back then, wasn't it just now? The hunchbacked old man smiled and vanished into thin air. The dispirited young man was stunned for a long time. Domain. The dispirited young man looked around, his will moved. Although his telekinesis was weak, under the guidance of a sector lord's will, it formed a weak flame domain. It's real, everything is real. Everything that happened is real. I cultivated all the way to becoming a sector lord. Is it all real? But, how did I return to the most painful time? Travel back to the past. No, the dispirited young man was different from before. He now had the heart of a strong warrior. Even if you reverse time, you won't be able to travel to the past. In other words, I experienced an illusion. But what kind of illusion could allow me to live in it for 100,000 years? and become a world overlord? Moreover, he comprehended a portion of the laws. The dispirited youth's eyes widened in horror. He looked around and shouted, "Senior, senior, senior." However, there was no one to be seen. The dispirited young man shook his head. "Unfortunately, I missed a great opportunity. If he could follow by that senior's side, becoming an undying would be easy. It's incredible, but I've already benefited a lot. Humph, that group of bastards, I killed you in the illusion. This time, I will make you feel despair again." Then, the decadent youth left the alley. The hunchbacked, antenna-horned old man stood where he was, watching the dispirited young man leave, and smiled. From beginning to end, the hunchbacked old man didn't move at all. However, if he wanted the dispirited young man to see him, he could see him. If he wanted the young man to not see him, he could not see him. Buzz! A powerful will traversed the endless space-time, suddenly descending upon this planet, descending upon this alley. The surrounding space was slightly distorted. An oval black ball appeared in the alley, speaking, "Stone, you are known as a demon god. Even universe lords fear you, yet you have the mood to help that punk." Double quote. "If I want to kill, I'll kill. If I want to save, I'll save. If I want to bestow favors, I'll bestow favors. If that punk had knelt in the alley and begged me, begging to see me, I would have immediately killed him." The hunchbacked old man turned to look at the black ball. "Automaton, this is the human domain, your will descended here to find me?" "Yes." The oval black ball floated in mid-air, the surrounding space was unstable, indistinct. "I'm asking you to kill a punk. Is he very strong?" the hunchbacked old man said. "Human Luo Feng." the oval black ball said. "Luo Feng." The hunchbacked old man nodded. "I know this punk. After returning from the Cosmic Sea, news about him spread like wildfire. No wonder you came. Your automaton race, the bug race and the demon race all want to kill him. Tell me, where is he now?" Double quote. "Ancestral God Sect, Purple Thorn Island." the oval black ball said. "Ancestral God Sect." The hunchbacked old man was no longer as calm and natural as before. His eyes stared and a black light flickered. "Automaton, I don't care about that huge axe, I can help you kill that punk. However, he's in the core area of the Ancestral God Sect. You want me to barge into the core area and kill their inheritor. It's said that the sect even gave him treasures, obviously they value this Luo Feng." Double quote. "Back then I helped you once, this time, I've returned the favor." The distant black ball spoke. "I owe you one." The hunchbacked old man said hoarsely, "All right, I'll agree. Give me his details." Double quote. "Pinnacle universe overlord strength, his god body is comparable to a rare life form, and he has the ability to clone himself. Just destroying his body alone won't work. You have to use your soul to destroy his entire body. Or soul control. However, soul control is obviously much harder." The black ball said, "Stone, you're an illusion type, the strongest in the universe. If you can't do it, no warrior in the primeval universe will be able to do it." Double quote. "All right, I'll leave now, I know you're all getting impatient," the hunchbacked old man said. "Then I'll wait for your good news," the oval black ball said. Hua. The two disappeared one after the other. The surrounding space shook a little before returning to normal. And the normal humans in the city didn't even notice this. Ancestral God Secret Region, space outside the five-colored extreme light lake. A completely black alien race being stood in the air, surrounded by black air currents. The black air currents covered his entire body, and only a pair of dark eyes could be vaguely seen. Human Luo Feng. To be able to make one of the strongest in the universe invite another to kill you, you should be proud. Purple Thorn Island. Luo Feng's mansion was built in the Jiangnan style, with bridges and streams, pavilions and terraces. Luo Feng sat in front of a table, drinking wine and pondering about the path of the beast god. He really liked these peaceful days of training. However, Luo Feng was clear, he seemed very safe in the ancestral god sect. However, the longer it dragged on, the more anxious the bug race, the demon race and the automaton race would be. After all, how could the top 3 races stand by and watch him grow? They would definitely think of a way to kill him. And he had the talent to create clones. If they destroyed one of his clones with just a physical attack, they wouldn't be able to achieve the result they wanted. Hence, if they wanted to kill him, they would definitely attack his soul, or use it to completely destroy him, just like how the Yunmo planet master died back then. Or his soul would be controlled. Luo Feng naturally didn't dare to be careless when his earth body appeared out in the open. He always carried the soul treasure pearl and wore the pinnacle treasure calamity armor. The calamity armor had the ability to weaken soul attacks. Most importantly, a weak soul type treasure might directly collapse in the face of some soul attacks. However, the pagoda pearl was one of the control cores of the Star Tower. It was the proof that it recognized its owner. Even if a powerful treasure attacked it, it would not shatter. Although its defensive power was only at the level of a normal treasure, it was definitely trustworthy. Pearl, calamity armor, along with my universe lord willpower and consciousness. Luo Feng thought. His powerful god body, endless god energy, gave him a powerful consciousness. Universe lord level. Training time and time again, the life and death inheritance evolution, 180 million years of training, allowed his willpower to reach the universe lord level. With this to rely on, Luo Feng naturally had more confidence. Luo Feng, who was sitting there holding a glass of wine and pondering about the path of the beast god, suddenly looked up at the sky. He couldn't feel anything wrong. He looked up. High up in the sky, below the rainbow lake, a silhouette surrounded by endless black energy appeared. Under the shroud, it was impossible to see clearly, only a pair of eyes could be seen. What kind of eyes were those? Luo Feng felt a shiver just from looking at it. Not good. That shiver that came from his soul, made Luo Feng immediately understand. This feeling of helplessness was only felt when meeting the space primogenitor and mountain passenger. It's the strongest of the universe. Luo Feng immediately understood. Hua. A formless attack descended. Ping. 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 100 meters above Luo Feng, a gigantic crack suddenly appeared out of nowhere. No, it wasn't a crack. It was a clash between two space. The space around the black energy silhouette was completely controlled, the universe laws within were all retracted, everything was under the control of that black energy silhouette. The space below too was being controlled, one above, one below, the two actually clashed 100 meters above Luo Feng. It was even more terrifying than a collision between planets. The two formless space clashed, the two powerful willpower controlling their own space. As the space clashed, cracks appeared. What? Luo Feng was stunned. After all, his strength far surpassed the pinnacle of the universe lords. He could even compete with the universe lords. His willpower and consciousness was extremely strong too. Hence he immediately determined that there was another strongest being below. Two strongest of the universe. They are exchanging blows. Luo Feng was stunned. Hua hua hua. The highest five-colored lake in the sky was truly going berserk. This was the first time Luo Feng had seen it so berserk. The endless five-colored lake was like a lake in the sky collapsing, rumbling. The endless aurora rushed downwards, rushing towards the black mist silhouette. The black mist silhouette didn't move at all, instead it let out an angry roar. Ancestor God, you want to stop me? Demon God Suzhen, this is my ancestral god sect's territory. A powerful voice resounded. Chapter 1125 Swallowed Star. Ancestor God? Luo Feng followed the voice and turned to look. Not far from his mansion, A silhouette rose from a normal palace. This was a 10-meter-tall foreign race warrior with 6 arms and 2 thick legs. He had a face on the front and back of his head. The front face was white and looked very benevolent. He had a smile on his face that made people involuntarily feel affected. The back face was pitch black and looked very ferocious. It was filled with killing intent. Each of his 6 arms was holding onto 6 short rods. Each of the short rods had 4 edges, and it was somewhat similar to the giant weapon from Earth's history. Of these 6 giant, 3 were black and 3 were white. At the same time, each of the black and white giant had an aura flowing, forming a cycle of black and white airflow. The ancestor god is beside me? Luo Feng was shocked. He had been training on Circus Island for 62 years. He didn't know there was an ancestor god living beside him. The ancestor god's benevolent face looked towards the sky. His voice passed through the space he controlled and reached the Void Demon God. Void Demon God, quickly retreat. I'll treat it as though you were never here. Haha, so it's the dual-faced ancestor god. What a big talk. You actually dare to be so arrogant in front of me. HMPH, others might be afraid of your ancestor god sect, but I, Void, have never cared. I go wherever I want to go. Who can stop me? Today, I want to kill this human Luo Feng. You can't stop me either. As the black foggy figure in the sky sneered, the space-time he controlled came pressing down on them once again. Rumble. The pressure from the cosmic space he controlled seemed to be even stronger than before. Ping. The dual-faced ancestor god looked up. The space he controlled also rushed upwards. Rumble. 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 At the same time the 2 universes clashed, the endless 5-colored lake finally pressed downwards. The countless auroras became extremely small and gathered together, forming a golden pillar of light. Everywhere it passed, it was silent. The space controlled by the Void Demon God seemed to have been cut, revealing a space ravine. An absolute treasure is indeed powerful. Luo Feng looked up and was shocked. That part of the universe space is completely controlled by the Demon God. His words are law and the laws of the universe have retreated. This is even more powerful than the master of the universe's ability to control space-time. However, in the face of a supreme treasure, it's useless. Double quote. The golden light pillar silently bombarded the ground below. Wherever it passed, a dark spatial ravine extended towards the Void Demon God. Ha! Demon God Void suddenly raised his head. Black fog filled the air. You want to hurt me with the 5-colored Aurora Lake? Get lost. The Void Demon God let out a roar. As he roared, an armor that caused the space to tremble immediately appeared. It was a mysterious armor that was stained with specks of golden blood. The armor fused with every inch of the Void Demon God's body. The moment the armor appeared, a dark void that was over 10 meters wide appeared around it. The golden beam of light blasted down. The blood-stained armor directly withstood it. Peng 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 peng, almost as though space was exploding inch by inch, like countless firecrackers going off. In an instant, the space around the Void Demon God completely crumbled into particles. However, the space controlled by the ancestor god was very stable and wasn't affected at all. Luo Feng's gaze pierced through the particles and saw the evil Void Demon God's silhouette. After this clash, the Void Demon God slightly sank down and the golden beam of light immediately crumbled. Haha, I have an absolute treasure protecting me. I've roamed the universe and nobody has been able to kill me. Who do you think you are? Haha. Along with an insolent roar, universe space, shatter. Double quote. Rumble. The black fog silhouette fiercely descended. One could vaguely see his right leg stomping down fiercely. The Void Fiend Celestial wore an ancient combat boot on his right foot. Clearly, it was one of the components of the paramount treasure that protected his body. The ancient combat boot. Just by stomping downwards, it caused space-time to completely distort. The flow of time became chaotic as space shattered. Peng peng peng. The universe space controlled by the ancestor god also shattered inch by inch. It couldn't stop the stomp at all. Void demon god, you're too presumptuous. The two-faced ancestor god's black face appeared in front of him. He looked above ferociously and his expression was filled with killing intent. With a roar, he rushed upwards. Each of his 6 arms had a god truncheon. As he waved his 6 truncheons, 3 black energy flows and 3 white energy flows formed. They combined and formed a complex black and white energy flow diagram. Black and white energy flow diagram. He rushed upwards. His right leg stomped downwards. Rumble. The moment the two clashed, the void demon god had an absolute treasure. The ancestor god's 6 truncheons were all pinnacle treasures too. With the 6 pinnacle treasures stacked together, the void demon god only had the defensive power of the treasures. In terms of offensive power, the ancestor god and the void demon god weren't much different. Void, scram. The two-faced ancestor god's 6 arms waved outwards, forming a complex black and white energy flow diagram. The 6 truncheons actually stacked together and supported each other. The void demon god's legs stomped downwards. The space they controlled was trembling. Luo Feng felt the surrounding space tremble. This made his expression change. He wanted to escape. However, the space controlled by the ancestor god was still safe. The moment he escaped, he would be in danger. What's more, the 2 strongest warriors of the universe were battling. It caused the space they controlled to tremble and become unstable. He couldn't even create his god country to teleport away. I can't escape either. There's actually the strongest warrior of the universe coming to kill me. Luo Feng stared hard at the battle between the 2 strongest warriors of the universe. Even though their battle was completely restricted to that space was constantly condensing into particles. Even though he didn't personally feel it, Luo Feng could vaguely deduce. It was terrifying. The void demon god was using his protective treasure. The ancestor god was using the 6 black and white truncheons. Even the universe lord would probably be destroyed. Void demon god, since you're still not leaving, don't blame me. 5-color Aurora Lake. The ancestor god roared. The 5-color Aurora Lake that had been attacking with only a portion of the 5-color Aurora began to shrink. One had to know that the 5-color Aurora Lake was a treasure that covered a few light years. At this time, it had completely shrunk. Countless Aurora became the size of rice grains and condensed into a 5-color huge blade. Slash. The 5-color huge blade slashed downwards. The ancestor god wielded his 6 truncheons and attacked again. Damn ancestor god, you actually. Void Fiend Celestial roared angrily. As he withstood the 5-colored Aurora Lake's 5-colored sword, he also had to withstand the ancestor god's 6 divine truncheons attacks. Immediately, he became flustered and suffered several attacks. His divine body was somewhat drained. You're forcing me. The void demon god looked up and roared. The surrounding space immediately began to crack. Even the ancestor god was forced to retreat. The 5-color huge blade couldn't even get close. In an instant, the ancestor god and the 5-color huge blade couldn't even get close. The void demon god emitted an overwhelming aura. It was simply ridiculously strong. Luo Feng, who was watching from below, was dumbstruck. The legendary strongest warrior of the universe was restricted by the universe origin laws. His true strength should only be slightly stronger than the universe lords. However, it shouldn't be this ridiculously strong. The ancestor god and the strongest treasures couldn't even get close. Void demon god, this is the primal universe. You actually dare to mess around. The ancestor god roared. Yeah. The Void Fiend Celestial's might was overwhelming, and it completely ignored the 5-colored greatsword as it punched downwards. At that moment, a golden chain suddenly appeared in the void and wrapped itself around the Void Fiend Celestial's arm, preventing its punch from landing. No. The Void Demon God was shocked. Another aquamarine chain extended out of the void, directly binding the void demon god's other arm. An aquamarine chain also extended out of the void, chains that were born out of the void, each of them silent, yet with irresistible power. They bound the void demon god's body layer by layer. Damn! The void demon god roared furiously, but his aura continued to weaken. It was so weak that it was even weaker than when the battle had just begun. Only then did the chains that had extended out from the void around him gradually fade. Dual-faced ancestor god, this is the primal universe. If we were in the cosmic sea, you wouldn't even be my match. The void demon god looked below and roared. But this is the primal universe. The dual-faced ancestor god looked above coldly. Any one of us can defeat you. In the primal universe no one can shake our ancestor god sect. We are the protectors of the universe origin laws. Naturally, we will receive the universe origin laws' blessings. Give up. Unless you want to challenge the universe origin laws. Double quote. The void demon god stared below. The dual-faced ancestor god looked at both sides. The two faced each other. Very good. The void demon god laughed angrily. In the cosmic sea, I will let your ancestor god sect know the consequences of angering me. The three of us never go to the cosmic sea. The dual-faced ancestor god said. The void demon god gritted his teeth. However, he could only suppress his rage. In the cosmic sea, the ancestor god sect couldn't be arrogant. However, in the primal universe the ancestor god sect reigned supreme. Punk. The void demon god turned to look at the shocked Luo Feng. Count yourself lucky. Rumble. The void demon god fiercely rushed into the sky. His speed far exceeded the speed of light. He immediately broke through the five-colored lake and vanished. The chaotic and broken universe space had completely calmed down. The flowers and plants on Circus Island were intact, and the colorful Aurora Lake was floating calmly in the sky. Except for Luo Feng, the other inheritors on Circus Island only felt the space shake, but they didn't know what had happened. Luo Feng looked up at the sky and was stunned for a while. The ancestor god and the void demon god had both vanished. Luo Feng, come here. The ancestor god's voice suddenly resounded in his ears. Chapter 1125 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng, who was beside the railing, turned to look below, only to see a silhouette standing in the courtyard of his residence. It was the two-faced ancestor god. Ancestor god. Luo Feng immediately flashed and arrived below. The two-faced ancestor god's kind face looked at Luo Feng, making him feel like he was bathed in the spring breeze. Luo Feng said gratefully, "Thank you ancestor god for saving me." The five-colored Aurora Lake enveloped the entire core area of the ancestor god sect. The sudden disappearance of the five-colored Aurora Lake had indeed attracted the attention of many islands: the Octagonal Beast God Temple, the Octagonal Beast God Temple, and the 72 Divine Generals continents. How big of a deal was it for the five-colored light lake to disappear? Even though it quickly returned to normal, it still caused endless discussion. The five-colored light lake is an absolute treasure. Unless it's in a critical moment, it won't be fully used. Usually just a little bit of light is enough to destroy the enemy. It disappeared in an instant just now. The five-colored light lake must have gone all out. Just who was it? Who provoked the five-colored light lake to go all out and attack? The ancestral god sect had a large number of outer members. They usually lived on other islands. They discussed and secretly sent the news back to their respective powers. Even though they were outer members, like Jiu Feng Knight, even though he was a candidate god, he was definitely loyal to humanity. With the ancestral god sect as the core, the news spread swiftly. The ancestral god sect's treasure, the five-colored light lake, was used once and instantly disappeared, only recovering after a while. Something big must have happened. To be forced to this extent, could it be that the strongest warrior of the universe invaded the core area of the ancestral god sect? The other 9 superpowers of the universe were not fools. Very quickly, they had their own deductions. This was especially so for the bug race, demon race, and automaton race, the three highest existences. They were all secretly anticipating this. This was because after the automaton race's godfather had invited the virtual demon god, he had immediately informed the demon race and bug race. He had already invited the strongest experts of the universe. Killing Luo Feng must have angered the ancestral god sect. Haha, as long as we kill Luo Feng, with that hard rock's ability, he can easily leave. The news quickly spread to the outside world, but Luo Feng didn't know about it. Especially on Circe Island, because the dual-faced ancestor god controlled the universe space, so the inheritors on Circe Island didn't see the five-colored aurora lake disappear and reappear. What? Luo Feng couldn't help but be shocked. Ancestor god, you've always been protecting me. Ha ha ha. The two-faced elder god laughed. I'm the immortal from your neighboring residence. Of course no one on Circe Island would be able to detect my appearance. It's him. An image of a two-headed silver wolf demon undying appeared in Luo Feng's mind. If I hadn't been living next door to you, how would I have been able to save you in time if I had been at the Ancestor God Palace when you suddenly encountered danger? The two-faced ancestral god said with a smile. Demon god Void Truth is so powerful that he appeared on Circe Island in an instant. If I had been in the Ancestral God Palace, I'm afraid that by the time I arrived, you would have died and your soul would have been controlled. Soul controlled. Luo Feng frowned. According to what he knew, the strongest expert in the universe was only slightly stronger than the strongest lord of the universe. The difference was not too ridiculous. His will and consciousness were at the level of a lord of the universe, and he had the tribulation armor to weaken soul attacks. He also had one of the Star Pagoda's components, the Pagoda Pearl, to guard his soul. He shouldn't be that weak, right? You don't believe me? The two-faced ancestral god smiled at Luo Feng and shook his head. He's called Demon God Void Truth. Why is he called Void Truth? It's because his illusions are exactly the same as reality. Double quote. Illusions. Reality? Luo Feng was shocked within. The moment you fall into his illusions, you will still be able to sense the universe origin laws and train. The comprehension of the laws within will be completely real. The two-faced ancestral god smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Of course, the moment you leave the illusions, you will realize that your body hasn't changed at all. Only your willpower and memories will change. Of course, the laws you train in must be ones he knows. If he doesn't, naturally he won't let you train in them. Double quote. Luo Feng was shocked within. One could even train in illusions. This was very similar to the virtual universe. Not right. The virtual universe allowed countless life forms to enter at the same time, and they could train in any law within. It was no different from reality. And the true absolute warriors would be able to clearly differentiate between the virtual world and reality. They wouldn't get mixed up. Only the weaker normal humans who stayed in the virtual world for long periods of time would get mixed up. And the moment one's willpower became strong, they wouldn't get mixed up. Therefore, there was a fundamental difference between the virtual universe and the illusory realm. The illusory realm was more upright, like another universe, the universe of consciousness. The moment you fall into his illusions, you may instantly spend 10,000 years in them or even longer. The two-faced ancestral god said. Won't this be used for training? Luo Feng was shocked. A very powerful way to save time. No. The two-faced ancestral god walked on the stone path beside the pond. Maintaining the illusions consumes a large amount of god energy, and he has to use all his strength. Making a normal human fall into an illusion for a long period of time is very easy. However, making a universe lord fall into an illusion and spend 10,000 years in it, the amount of god energy used is ridiculous. How can you use it for training? What's more, the path you're walking on, the demon god might not know. Double quote. However, his strongest technique is his illusions. The ancestral god looked at Luo Feng. I've lived beside you for 62 years, silently observing you for so long, I can deduce, your willpower and consciousness should have reached the universe lord level. Your god body too is comparable to a unique life form. Luo Feng was shocked. Terrifying. He didn't even battle, just observing in the dark. He was able to deduce this after a long period of observation. Even his primal Chaos City leader teacher had to deduce this in the primal universe. Killing you with a soul is as difficult as killing a universe lord. However, the demon god can do it. The ancestral god nodded. The demon god's illusions are terrifying. With the universe lord's willpower and consciousness, one has to at least have a top-level soul-type treasure to not fear his illusions. And this is when his strength is restricted by the universe laws. Double quote. One has to have a top-level soul-type treasure? Luo Feng held his breath. A top-level soul-type treasure, comparable to a pinnacle treasure's value, even amongst the universe lords, more than half didn't have one. You have to know, he's the strongest in the universe, the most terrifying in terms of illusions. The two-faced ancestral god looked at Luo Feng. Normal soul-type treasures, his godly energy can instantly tear through them, even high-level soul-type treasures can't protect them. This is a fact proven by his battle records. Luo Feng nodded, memorizing it. This information was considered top secret. For the two-faced ancestral god to tell him, it was a huge favor. Actually, the two-faced ancestral god was able to hide beside him for a total of 62 years, which meant that ever since his fame exploded, provoking the Bud clan, Demon clan and Automaton clan to kill him, the two-faced ancestral god had been hiding beside him. The armor can only weaken one level, just the pearl. Is that not enough? Looks like I have to bring the Star Pagoda with me at all times. Luo Feng thought. The moment the pearl returned to the Star Pagoda, it would shrink and sit within Luo Feng's body, naturally protecting his soul. The Star Pagoda, it had attack, soul type, flying palace type, sealing and many other effects. Even though it only had soul type effects, the entire Star Pagoda within his body, according to Luo Feng's judgment, it was comparable to a pinnacle soul-type treasure. At least Luo Feng felt it was completely different. Just as Mountain Passenger said. With the Star Pagoda, he feared no one. His strongest defense was to hide within the Star Pagoda. Be it material attacks or soul attacks, the Star Pagoda could completely defend against them. Hiding within, even the strongest of the universe couldn't do anything to him. Of course, doing that would also reveal that he had the Star Pagoda. That would definitely attract the jealousy of the pinnacle existences of the universe. There was no such thing as guarding for 1,000 days, being watched by the strongest of the universe. He couldn't always stay within the Star Pagoda. The moment he was careless, he would be in danger. Next time I'll place the Star Pagoda within my body and protect my soul. I've still underestimated the universe's strongest expert. It's said that the universe's strongest expert is only slightly stronger than the strongest lord of the universe. I didn't expect them to be so powerful. Looks like I've underestimated the power of the universe lords too. Luo Feng thought. He always thought that after stepping into the universe night level, he would be able to spar with the universe lords. However, Luo Feng suddenly realized there were strong and weak universe lords too. The weak ones, he might be able to spar with them. However, the strong ones like the primal Chaos City leader, they were only slightly weaker than the Void Demon God. From the Void Demon God's performance, the pinnacle of universe lords were probably much stronger than him. Absolute treasure Star Pagoda to protect my soul, Calamity armor to protect my body, 90,000 kilometers long god body, the strongest of the universe shouldn't be able to do anything to me. I have to quickly retrieve the Star Pagoda. Luo Feng felt that he was overconfident. The power displayed by the strongest of the universe this time woke him up. The two-faced ancestor god turned and looked at Luo Feng. The news of you killing the blurry light leader and Zhong's Han Knight has spread, especially when you appeared on Purple Thorn Island. The other two ancestor gods and I have discussed about you. The bug race, automaton race and demon race will endure for a while, but as time goes on, they might make a move. Hence, on the second day of your arrival, I stayed in the palace beside yours. Double quote. Thank you, ancestor god. Luo Feng said. This heart. He had to remember. Repay kindness with kindness. You are the one our ancestor god sect has the highest hopes for in the recent long years. Your potential is even stronger than Purple Rain Knight. The two-faced ancestor god smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Our ancestor god sect hopes for you to grow to a level comparable to your teacher, the primal chaos city leader. At that time, we will give you the position of guardian god leader. Double quote. Chapter 1126 Swallowed Star. Protector God Leader? Luo Feng was shocked. 9 Underworld Leader was the Protector God Leader of the Ancestral God Sect. The Protector God Leader was already the highest level of the outer members of the Ancestral God Sect. His position was second only to the Elder God, comparable to the Beast God. No wonder he helped me so much. He thinks highly of me and wants me to become the Protector God Leader. Luo Feng thought. Right now, I'm facing the strongest of the universe, and I still need the protection of the strongest treasures. However, the moment I step into the Universe Lord level, my God energy will rise again, and my consciousness will naturally rise again. Double quote. At that time, even if I don't use any soul treasures, I won't have to fear the illusionary demon god anymore. Luo Feng thought. Right now, his strength was very strong, and he dared to fight the universe lords. However, against the strongest of the universe, he still had to rely on the Star Pagoda to protect himself. It seemed like the strongest of the universe mountain guest was the most accurate. Back then he said that Luo Feng relied on the Star Pagoda to dominate the universe without fear. The other meaning of this was that without the Star Pagoda, Luo Feng still couldn't reach a level where he didn't have to fear anyone in the universe. Understanding the intentions of the Ancestral God Sect, Luo Feng was still grateful. After all, they only did this because they thought highly of him. And according to his investigations, the Ancestral God Sect indeed had no conflicts with the human race. Plus the Ancestral God Sect had promised back then, the moment one joined an outer member, like a human, they definitely wouldn't let the human warriors deal with the human race. They could even reject certain missions. Since Demon God Illusionary tried to deal with you once, you should know how much the Bud Clan, Automaton Clan and Demon Clan want to kill you. The two-faced Elder God looked at Luo Feng. Think carefully about what you should do. Luo Feng nodded. Of course, there's no need to panic. Demon God Illusionary is the strongest in the universe. What kind of status does he have? To invite him to act, the price won't be low. Since he had already tried once and failed again, at the very least, Void Demon God definitely wouldn't come to the Ancestor God Sect to assassinate him a second time. It wouldn't be easy to invite another strongest expert of the universe. I'm afraid the Bud Clan, Automaton Clan and Demon Clan won't be willing to do it. After all, after failing once, if he fails again, wouldn't that be akin to giving away treasures? The two-faced Elder God smiled. Think carefully about what you should do. I'll return to the Ancestral God Palace. Double quote. The two-faced Elder God immediately turned and left. With just 3 steps, his silhouette blurred and vanished. Return to Ancestral God Palace. Luo Feng nodded within. What kind of status did the Ancestor God have? It was already a great favor for him to stay by the side and help him once. He couldn't always be his bodyguard. Let's return to God Nation first. Luo Feng turned around and headed towards the living room of his mansion. Horizontal ellipsis. He left Circus Island and teleported back to the Divine Kingdom. The endless tranquil sea was constantly sensing the universe origin, absorbing divine power and continuing its transformation. After all, when he became a universe paragon from the immortal realm, only 1/8 of his body, a diameter of 10 billion kilometers, had completed the transformation, and he was still improving. Star Tower. The silver-armored and winged Luo Feng stood on the surface of the ocean. In the distance, a golden horned beast flew over. The golden horned beast that had become 1,000,000 km long had a huge star pagoda on its head. The star pagoda had also become 100,000 kilometers long. These few years, the golden horned beast has been studying the engravings of the Star Tower. The engravings on the Star Tower were incomparably profound and complicated. Furthermore, there were layers upon layers, as though a group of mountains was shrouded in white fog, making it impossible for one to see through them. Luo Feng was currently like that too. He could only vaguely discern the 3 layers of engravings. He had only completely comprehended the first layer. Of course, the second layer was almost there. Come. Luo Feng extended his hand. Hua. The distant Star Tower immediately flew over. As it flew, it shrunk and landed in Luo Feng's palm. It was only the size of a walnut. Protect the soul. With a thought from Luo Feng, the star pagoda instantly drilled into Luo Feng's body and floated in the center of his chest. The original pagoda pearl naturally flew back into the star pagoda and returned to its original place. Just one pearl alone had the effect of protecting the soul. The most powerful treasure Star Tower, in terms of protecting the soul, it was even stronger by who knows how many times. Hua, countless God energy threads spread out with the Star Pagoda as the core. It was almost like the Star Pagoda had set up a network, swiftly covering Luo Feng's entire body. Every bit of God energy and life force was completely protected together. This made Luo Feng exclaim, it was simply too powerful. The pearl protected the soul, like a huge rock suppressing it. The Star Tower protected the soul, like a majestic mountain suppressing it. The stability was much stronger than before. As expected of a supreme treasure, Luo Feng was overjoyed. No wonder it was said that an absolute treasure could become a family treasure or a sect treasure. Even the strongest of the universe didn't have an absolute treasure. Even though I failed to invite the strongest of the universe to kill me the first time, the chances of a second time is very low. However, I can't be careless. Luo Feng immediately connected his consciousness to the virtual universe. Back then I tried to search for information on the strongest of the universe, but I couldn't find anything. And when the news spread, I was recognized as the pinnacle of the universe. My authority should have been raised. Double quote. Virtual universe, Thunder Island, Luo Feng's residence. In a tranquil hall. Through the window, one could see the endless Thunder Island below. Luo Feng sat at his desk, looking at his laptop. Indeed, my authority has been raised. Luo Feng looked and smiled. The last time, Luo Feng had the authority of a middle-level knight. And this time, it was a 7-star universe overlord authority. Master. The virtual universe assistant Babita's voice resounded. Of course this was only Babita's AI. Babita's true body was quietly training on Earth. With Luo Feng's resources, Babita had long stepped into the undying level. However, even an undying, he couldn't participate in battles at Luo Feng's level. Hence, he remained on Earth. However, the Luo family had many matters. Babita had provided some help. Search for the universe lords and strongest of the universe. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. Hua. Many messages immediately appeared on the screen. Luo Feng immediately opened the first one. Usually the first one was the one with the most information. The authority of a 7-star universe overlord is indeed different. Looks like some of the most important secrets have the authority to know. Luo Feng looked at the large amount of information and smiled in praise, reading on. The countless life forms in the universe were nurtured by the universe. Like the universe's children, they received the love of the universe. Unique life forms were born with eternal life. Normal life forms had to reach the undying level to have eternal life. Otherwise, they would only reach the end of their lifespan and fall. Generation after generation, they would grow and fall, from which undyings would emerge. Below the undying level, there was no need to say more. Undying, just comprehending one of the lowest origin laws, and with the help of the origin law ocean, they would transform into a God body, gaining eternal life. Universe lords, however, comprehended one of the space or time laws. Their God bodies were stronger, and their comprehension of the origin laws would reach a higher level. Universe lords, however, comprehended space and time, or one of the fusion laws of metal, wood, time, and wind. Only by reaching this level could one truly become the Lord of the universe. Once one became a universe lord, even the golden space beast god would be able to control space and time. This was a gift from the universe to them. Undying, universe knight, universe lord, these three levels, the universe origin laws had always been bestowed. Bestowed. And bestowed. Endlessly bestowed. With luck, they would be bestowed with natural techniques. Bestowed with complete control over space and time, bestowed with the possibility of reviving through space and time. Even after becoming a universe lord, the universe origin laws still treated them like children, bestowing and protecting them. And during the training process, they would never intentionally disturb or destroy it. However, from the universe lord to the strongest of the universe, firstly, there was no clear path. Once a universe's strongest was born, the path he once walked would be sealed. Other experts would not be able to walk the same path and become the universe's strongest. Secondly, even after experiencing endless hardships, great wisdom, great luck, and great perseverance, one could finally break through the final bottleneck and take the final step. After becoming the invincible universe's strongest, the universe's strongest would be able to control the laws and laws themselves. Their strength was so great that their words would be law. At this time, they would instead be suppressed and restricted by the universe. From being a weakling to cultivating to becoming a universe lord, the universe had always favored them. The universe's strongest would instead be restricted and suppressed. Their strength would be suppressed, and they would only be able to unleash slightly more power than the strongest universe lord. Although they could only unleash this much power, their bodies were indeed extremely powerful. Thus, even reversing space-time to revive an overlord of the universe was incomparably easy for them. Furthermore, once the universe's strongest killed a universe lord or a universe knight, one had to know that universe lords and supremacies were all protected by the universe origin laws. If they were truly killed, the universe's strongest would be punished by the universe origin laws. The stronger the killer, the heavier the punishment. For example, killing a universe lord, the punishment was nothing to the universe's strongest. The punishment for killing a master of the universe was much heavier. Of course, like the 9 underworld lord, primal chaos city leader etc., some of the universe's strongest, even if they gave it their all and accepted the punishment to kill them, they still didn't have enough power to kill them. Because the strength they could unleash was always limited. So it's like that. Luo Feng was dumbstruck as he watched. The universe nurtures all living beings, naturally it favors them, so the moment one becomes the universe's strongest, his identity changes, almost like he would be suppressed and restricted by the universe. Even killing universe knights and universe lords would result in punishment. Double quote. How peculiar. Similarly, born from the endless primal universe, they've always been protected. However, the moment one becomes the universe's strongest, they have to be suppressed. And every strongest person in the universe must find a different path to break through? Luo Feng realized that the universe's strongest should have an even bigger secret. This secret was enough for the primal universe to suppress them, at least the secret, At least his 7-star authority didn't have the right to see it. Chapter 1127 Swallowed Star. Luo Feng leaned back and knocked his legs on the table. He closed his eyes and recalled all the information he had read about the universe lords and the strongest in the universe, thinking carefully. Universe lords have differences in strength. Unless the difference in strength is too huge, it's usually very hard to kill the other. The strongest in the universe are even stronger than the strongest universe lords by a little. However, their numbers are extremely rare. Just like our human race, we only have one creator of the huge axe. And if they kill a universe lord, they'll receive the universe's punishment. Double quote. These two reasons lead to one result: the masters of the universe rarely perish. Luo Feng nodded. Universe lords rarely fall. It wasn't because of their strength, it was just one aspect. The other aspect was that some absolute beings weren't willing to pay too much of a price to attack. Unless there were enough treasures to attract them. Just like on the primal star, the fight for the treasures would cause the universe lord to fall. What do I do? Automaton, Demon and Bud clan have already invited the strongest to deal with me. What should I do? Luo Feng pondered. As long as one wasn't an idiot, they could guess that the demon god was definitely invited by the Bud clan, Demon and Automaton clan. I dodged once, the ancestor god helped me block it. The ancestor god helped me block it once, but he can't always be my bodyguard. What should I do next time? Even though the chances of the strongest attacking next time is very low, it'll be hard to not force the 3 large races to attack again. I'm afraid the next time will be even crazier. Luo Feng frowned as he pondered. It was very troublesome. He had the absolute treasure star pagoda, he wasn't afraid of the strongest at all. However, this was the problem. If one of the strongest attacked, and Luo Feng actually blocked it, an Apex Universe Lord actually blocked the strongest. That was simply the biggest joke in the world. As long as one wasn't stupid, one could guess, this Apex Universe Lord definitely had a powerful protective treasure, and an extremely powerful one at that. Otherwise, how could he survive against the strongest? As long as the strongest attacks me, if the ancestor god doesn't block it in time, I'll be exposed. Luo Feng frowned as he pondered. He definitely wouldn't be willing to die. He would definitely resist. Surviving under the attack of the universe's strongest, anyone would guess he had treasures, especially when the absolute treasure star pagoda disappeared and caused a huge commotion in the universe. At this crucial moment, Luo Feng was actually able to survive under the universe's strongest's attack unscathed. There would probably be many who suspected him. At that time, it will really be troublesome. There should be quite a number of the strongest experts in the cosmos eyeing the Star Tower. When that time comes, I won't even need the Bud clan, Demon clan, or Automaton clan to ask for help. Those few universes' strongest warriors will all rush to my side. Don't tell me I'll have to live in the Star Tower every day? Luo Feng was troubled as he pondered. Horizontal ellipsis. Within the study, Luo Feng closed his eyes and pondered. There are 2 ways. First, hide in the primal cosmos until you become a universe lord. However, stepping from the universe supremacy stage to the universe lord stage was an extremely difficult hurdle. Even if another 180 million years were to pass, it still might not be possible. What's more, the longer this drags on, the angrier and angrier the 3 insectoid races will become. It's even possible that they'll attack the Luo family. Double quote. Battles between experts rarely involved clans. But that was only within the human race. The grudges and killings between human experts rarely affected the clans. As for the slaughter between the races, the foreign races were very crazy in their slaughter. Their final goal was to make the other race completely fall and disappear. They were willing to go to any lengths. Right now, with the ocean shadow that was even stronger than the average universe overlord guarding Earth, plus the fact that Earth itself was an important place with extremely tight security, unless they sent out a Universe Lord. Otherwise there wouldn't be any problems. Second, let them think I'm the Universe Lord. Luo Feng thought. The reason why they are so anxious to kill me is because they are afraid I'll become the Universe Lord the moment they confirm I'm the Universe Lord. They'll regret and think they've been too slow and that I've already broken through. Luo Feng thought, and even if they invite the universe's strongest, they won't easily agree to attack a Universe Lord. The universe's punishment is very severe. 2 plans. Luo Feng very quickly eliminated the first plan. Who knew how long it would take to become a Universe Lord? There were many who were stuck at the Universe Lord level for countless years. And he hadn't even reached the 5th level of the Beast God Path. To completely accept the 7th level of the Beast God Path, that would take an extremely long time. Moreover, judging from Teacher Mountain Traveler's requirements for him, Mountain Traveler clearly hoped that he could temper himself and grow through battles, rather than hiding in a corner to cultivate. Hiding in a safe place to train, he probably wouldn't become a Universe Lord his entire life. Then, there's only the second plan. Disguise as a Universe Lord. My God body should be very close to a Universe Lord's body, almost the same. Luo Feng thought. According to his research, breaking through from a Universe Lord to a Universe Lord, the body would be 100 times stronger than before. Meaning, even the weakest Universe Lord's body would be as strong as a Universe Lord with 10,000 times the vitality. My body is similar. Willpower and consciousness is also at the Universe Lord level. Techniques 2. Luo Feng nodded. I have the pinnacle of the Universe Lord technique Golden Mountain and the ultimate technique Golden Light. If I unleash these 2 techniques frequently, and unleash my full Universe Lord strength, then, who would dare say I'm not a Universe Lord? The only weakness is that I can't control time and space. Controlling time and space, one could use it to suppress the opponent. One could also reverse time and revive other Universe Lords, Undyings etc. A Universe Lord level battle is extremely powerful. Controlling one area of time and space doesn't affect that level of battle at all. Controlling one area of time and space can only suppress the weak. Luo Feng thought, and no one has forced me to reverse time and space to revive anyone. Luo Feng thought carefully and nodded. It was completely doable. The most convincing thing was the secret technique. He had used 2 secret techniques at the Lord of the Universe level, the Golden Mountain and the Golden Light. As long as more super existences knew about it, they would quickly determine that this was a Lord of the Universe level secret technique. And the engraving technique was obviously a secret. One had to become a Universe Lord to create the ultimate technique of the Universe Lord level. In a situation where the mysterious pattern school had yet to appear, this was common knowledge in the primeval universe. I can definitely succeed. Luo Feng nodded. I have to use battle to prove myself. Since Luo Feng had decided to let the trillions of races of the universe think he was a Universe Lord, then naturally he had to use battle to prove himself. Battle, he had to be convincing. Teacher Mountain Guest wants me to kill 10 Universe Lords or 1 Universe Lord, then he'll craft me the pinnacle treasures. For me to directly kill a Universe Lord, I have no confidence at all. And I've never battled with a Universe Lord before, the situation will probably be out of my control. Double quote. This battle, I can't have any accidents. I have to do it beautifully. I have to shock the trillions of races of the universe, let them clearly recognize my strength as a Universe Lord. I have to let the bug race, demon race and automaton race think, I've already broken through. If they kill me now, the price is too high, it's not worth it. Luo Feng immediately stood up. Babata. Luo Feng shouted. The virtual assistant's Ali Babata immediately responded, Master. Gather the information of the demon race, automaton race and bug race, The three universe lords, along with their respective alliances, I want to look at them one by one and pick from them. Luo Feng said. He had already decided, his target was to pick from the three alliances. Yes. Hua. In just a moment. I've already finished gathering, this is the detailed information. Babata said, there is a lot of detailed information on every Apex Universe Overlord, including their growth, combat information, strength assessment, treasures, etc. Luo Feng nodded, ordering, one by one. After which Luo Feng began to carefully study the detailed information of these universe lords. Just as Luo Feng was picking his unlucky prey, a mail from the Primal Chaos City leader arrived. The content was simple, come quickly. Looking at this mail, Luo Feng immediately stopped picking his prey, immediately heading towards the peak of Thunder Island, the Primal Chaos City leader's shrine. Endless energy permeated the area. Before the shrine was a round table carved out of jade, with two silhouettes sitting opposite each other. One was the gold-robed Primal Chaos City leader, the other was an extremely tall and sturdy man with a dragon tail dressed in an ordinary battle robe. He sat there like a mountain, his tyrannical aura was evident. The moment Luo Feng arrived, with one look, he immediately determined that the person beside him was also a universe lord. Luo Feng, this is the dragon leader. The Primal Chaos City leader saw Luo Feng arrive and said, Teacher, dragon leader. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. Luo Feng. The Primal Chaos City leader turned, I'm indeed looking for you for an extremely important matter. According to our information, something big has just happened in the core area of the Ancestral God Sect. The other islands of the Ancestral God Sect all noticed the extremely powerful treasure, the 5-color Extreme Light Lake, vanishing for a moment before reappearing, yet the inheritors of Purple Jing Island didn't notice anything. Do you know what this means? It means, a part of space and time on Purple Jing Island has been controlled. All the warriors unknowingly didn't notice anything at all. Even though the Universe Lord can control a part of space and time, he can't make it so that the other Universe Lords on Purple Jing Island can't see or sense it. Only the Universe's strongest. The Universe's strongest covered up everything and the 5-color Extreme Light Lake disappeared. There's an 80-90% chance that one of the universe's strongest broke into the core area of the Ancestral God Sect. The Primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng. Did that universe's strongest go to kill you? Chapter 1128 Swallowed Star. The Primal Chaos City leader and the other upper echelons of humanity had just received the news and deduced that one of the strongest warriors in the universe had broken into Circus Island. They immediately connected the dots. The Bud Clan, the Demon Clan, and the Automaton Clan had long wanted to kill Luo Feng. Since Luo Feng had been on Circus Island all this time, the three top clans had been waiting anxiously for a long time. It wasn't impossible for the strongest warrior in the universe to kill Luo Feng. After coming to this conclusion, the Primal Chaos City leader was shocked. Fortunately, Luo Feng's consciousness had been connected to the virtual universe, so the Primal Chaos City leader knew that Luo Feng was still alive. That was why he wasn't anxious. But the Primal Chaos City leader was also confused. If the strongest warrior in the universe had come to kill Luo Feng, he shouldn't have failed, unless Luo Feng reacted quickly and self-destructed. If he hadn't come to kill Luo Feng, then what would happen? The strongest warrior in the universe is Demon God Suzhen, said Luo Feng respectfully. Demon God Suzhen. The dragon leader and the Primal Chaos City leader were both shocked. He did come to Circus Island to kill me. Luo Feng thought for a moment and decided to say it out loud. After all, from a normal point of view, he was a rising warrior in the human race. The Bud Clan and the other three clans were desperately trying to kill him, so the human race naturally had to protect him. He had been assassinated by the strongest warrior in the universe, so the human race should have done something about it. There was no need for him to fight all by himself. Let's see what the race would do first. He really came to kill you. The primal Chaos City leader's eyes were filled with killing intent. Demon God Suzhen went personally, "How did you escape?" The dragon leader couldn't help but ask. The primal Chaos City leader also said, "Demon God Suzhen came personally. With his strength, your Circus Island leader couldn't have stopped him. As for your ancestor god, he couldn't have stopped him in time. How did you?" Double quote. "Teacher, it was the ancestor god who saved me," said Luo Feng respectfully. The dragon leader and the primal Chaos City leader looked at each other. Actually, they had already deduced from the battle information that the inheritors of Circus Island hadn't noticed the movement of the five-colored Aurora Lake. Only the ancestor god could use the five-colored Aurora Lake. But they didn't understand how the ancestor god could have had time to intervene. One had to know how fast the speed of a battle between experts was. If it weren't for the ancestor god, I'm afraid, Luo Feng shook his head and said, "Ever since I was recognized as a top overlord of the universe, the ancestor god has been living in seclusion next to me since I entered Circus Island. He has been my neighbor for the past 62 years. Ah. Neighbor?" Dragon Travel leader and Primal Chaos City leader were shocked shocked at how much the ancestral god sect valued Luo Feng. To be able to get the highest ranking ancestor god in the entire sect to be his bodyguard, this gesture was indeed beautiful, the highest being in the universe's #1 power personally staying by his side to protect him for so long. Anyone would be touched. "Where are you now?" the Primal Chaos City Master asked. "I'm not on Circus Island right now," Luo Feng said. "Don't go back yet. The bug race, automaton race and monster race have failed this time. It's hard to say if they won't try again next time," the Primal Chaos City Master instructed solemnly. "Go and meditate first. I'll think about your matters." "Yes." Luo Feng immediately bowed towards the two before him and vanished into thin air. The dragon leader and the primal Chaos City leader were deep in thought and didn't say anything. "Primal Chaos." The dragon travel leader finally spoke. "Circus Island isn't a safe place. The three races' desire to kill Luo Feng is terrifying. Back then it was just a guess, I didn't expect it to be true. Moreover, it's a demon god that specializes in illusions. It's truly the most terrifying existence to deal with a clone talent. I'll immediately inform Huge Axe and gather all the universe lords to discuss this matter." The primal Chaos City Master couldn't hold it in any longer. When the human universe lords gathered again because of this matter, Luo Feng was in one of the halls of his palace flipping through the information of the top universe overlords. "My human race, including myself, only has 4 top universe overlords. The automaton race has 4 top universe overlords. The demon race has a total of 21 top universe overlords. After all, the demon race has different levels of bloodlines. There are quite a few demon race with a clone talent, so the number of top universe overlords is extremely high. The bug race has 81 universe overlords, and 2 top universe overlords. However, the bug race overlords, the moment they activate the bug C tactic, they can easily match up to the other race's top universe overlords." Luo Feng nodded within. The bug race was terrifying. A bug race queen, just based on her own strength, might only be a universe overlord. However, she could pay any price to create a group of universe knight-level bug soldiers. Even though only their bodies were strong, the queen's consciousness could descend on each soldier, giving them extremely powerful battle abilities. The Automaton Alliance has a total of 12 top universe overlords. The Demon Races Alliance has a total of 16 universe overlords. The Bug Race Alliance has a total of 9 top universe overlords. Who should I choose? Luo Feng first eliminated the Bug Race. The Bug Race Queen herself wasn't terrifying, However, she could control the powerful Bud soldiers. Even if he could kill the Bud soldiers one by one, the Bud clan queen could still take the opportunity while they were blocking Luo Feng and swiftly escape. Automaton race. The automaton race had a total of 4 top universe overlords. Just like the human race had a total of 3, the treasures they had were all extremely powerful. And they were all in important areas of the automaton race, just like the human leader Xian Shi and Star Hell Demon Lord were in important areas. The demon race. The demon race has a large number of top universe overlords, and they are scattered. Luo Feng looked at the information floating in mid-air. Suddenly he stared at one. It's him, Skyflower Lord. Supremacy Xianhua was a top demon universe overlord. He was second only to the Heavenly Wolf clan's lord and was the pride of the entire Heavenly Wolf clan. He was the personal disciple of the Heavenly Wolf clan's lord and also the disciple of demon matriarch Dream. Skyflower Lord. Sky Wolf leader? Luo Feng laughed softly. He couldn't forget back when he came out of the ice prison. That high and mighty Sky Wolf leader wanted to kill him. Luckily his primal Chaos City leader teacher appeared. Skyflower Lord, you're unlucky. It's you. After deciding on his prey Skyflower Lord, Luo Feng naturally began to search for detailed information and plans. Investigating his treasures, techniques etc., he wanted to understand his strength and where he usually stayed. However, when Luo Feng was planning, the primal Chaos City leader immediately contacted him. Luo Feng. Come to the primal Chaos ruins to meet me. Yes. Without caring about anything else, since his teacher had given his orders, Luo Feng swiftly left the God Country and arrived at the Virtual Universe Company's headquarters. Sitting in the ship, through the universe pathway, he arrived at Primal Chaos City. Walking within the city leader's residence, the guards were all respectful. Primal Chaos Ruins. Within the vast Chaos Ruins, the Primal Chaos City leader sat cross-legged. Only when Luo Feng approached did he open his eyes. Teacher. Luo Feng bowed. Hua. The Primal Chaos City leader casually waved his hand and a beam of light flew towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng extended his hand to receive it. Looking down, there was a triangular crystal in his palm. It was like an amethyst. On it there were beautiful ancient carvings. The entire crystal had a peculiar allure to it. This is one of the better high-level soul treasures. Its name is Yu Xiang. The Primal Chaos City leader said. Yu Xiang? Luo Feng was shocked. Earlier, when he was exchanging for the top precious treasure, the Blood Shadow Blade, he'd scanned through many of the exchange catalogs. With his ability, he naturally had a photographic memory, and he clearly remembered that under the soul-type precious treasures, Afterimage required a total of 620 precious points. High-level soul treasures were even more valuable than the normal top-level weapons. Top-level battle blades etc., normally 80 treasure points would be enough to exchange for them. However, high-level soul treasures, even the lowest would be 200-300 treasure points. Yu Xiang was even more of the best, at 620 treasure points. Of course, if it was a top-level soul treasure, then its value would be much higher. That was completely comparable to the 1000 treasure river, Sword River etc. Normally it would require a few thousand treasure points. Teacher, Luo Feng looked up at the Primal Chaos City leader. It wasn't me who gave it to you, it was the clan who gave it to you. The Primal Chaos City leader smiled. This is a top-level soul treasure. Yu Xiang, it's worth multiple top-level weapons. This was the clan's final decision after they found out you were being chased by the demon god, to give you this Yu Xiang to protect your soul. Double quote. Your willpower and consciousness has already reached the Universe Lord level, and Yu Xiang is also a top-level soul treasure. If you meet a demon god again, with Yu Xiang protecting your soul, at least you won't be invaded by the soul, much less controlled by it. You can easily self-destruct. The primal Chaos City leader said. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed. If it was a true pinnacle overlord, even with the treasure protecting his soul, against the strongest of the universe, he still wouldn't be able to escape. Normally he would choose to self-destruct. Being able to self-destruct was already considered a success, only Luo Feng was different. He had the absolute treasure Star Pagoda to protect his body, and the pinnacle treasure Calamity Armor to protect his body. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng was still thankful. He indeed lacked a soul treasure. Even though he had the Star Pagoda, however, his earth body and the golden horned beast, both required soul treasures. After acquiring this Yu Xiang, Luo Feng immediately made a decision. I'll let my earth body use it. He already had the Calamity Armor before, and it has the ability to weaken soul attacks. Yu Xiang and the Calamity Armor together, it's completely comparable to a pinnacle soul treasure. Then, I'll probably be able to withstand even that demon god's soul attack. Double quote. The golden horned beast has the Star Pagoda, it'll have enough confidence. When I use the Blood Cloud Palace leader's identity to roam, I won't tarnish his reputation. Luo Feng made a decision within. This treasure indeed came at the right time. This Yu Xiang required 620 treasure points. Luo Feng's remaining treasures were all given to his clan, and he could only get a small portion of it. With this treasure, you can roam the universe. After all, it's not easy for the Bud clan and the other two races to invite the strongest of the universe again. You don't have to worry too much. The primal Chaos City Master said solemnly, your strength has already reached such a level. You must temper yourself in battle. Any master of the universe is born from the tempering of battle. You won't become a master of the universe if you just cultivate. Go. Double quote. Yes. Luo Feng bowed and left. Chapter 1129 Swallowed Star. After leaving the primal universe, Luo Feng returned to his god country. The waves were huge, and in the air above the endless sea floated a shrine shrouded in light. Luo Feng stood in the plaza before the shrine, and beside him was the majestic golden horned beast. A 9-level pagoda appeared in Luo Feng's hand and flew towards the golden horned beast. From today onwards, the golden horned beast will use the Star Pagoda. Earth body will use the Wu Killer wings, the armor and the afterimage. Luo Feng nodded. This arrangement was indeed the best. As the golden horned beast had another identity as the Blood Cloud leader, hence it had the Blood Cloud Pearl, and the pearl itself had the ability to disguise itself. To be able to change one's life energy, to be able to change the appearance of treasures, etc. Even though it was hard to evaluate the level of the Blood Cloud Pearl, Mountain Passenger had paid a huge price to make it. During normal battles, the Star Pagoda would shrink to the size of a spike. However, the moment it was enlarged, anyone would be able to notice something fishy. However, with the Blood Cloud Pearl, one could completely change the appearance of the Star Pagoda. The Blood Cloud Pearl itself had the ability to disguise and change one's appearance. That way, no one would be able to recognize it. Even the primal Chaos City leader teacher said that training alone won't allow me to become a universe lord. He told me to train through battles. Just like what he said. Luo Feng nodded within. That day, Virtual Universe Thunder Island. In a pavilion outside Luo Feng's palace, the Luo family's attendants prepared an exquisite banquet. Luo Feng and Ying Zhao Knight sat opposite each other. The triangular-head thick and sturdy man Ying Zhao Knight seemed a little reserved. He said, Knife River, there's no need to prepare wine for you to find me. If there's anything you need, just say it, I'll definitely do my best. Ying Zhao Knight wasn't dumb at all. What a joke. The Luo Feng before him was comparable to the Xian Shi Palace leader, the Ancestral Tree Knight and the Star Hell Demon Lord. Which knight wouldn't want to befriend him? There's indeed something I need to trouble you with. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Speak. Ying's Hao Knight said, "It's just that my power is limited, I'm afraid I won't be able to do it well." "Very simple." Luo Feng said, "Help me find the demon race Xianhua Knights coordinates." Places like the bar had large amounts of universe knights gathered, and people like the Xian Shi Palace leader and the Star Hell Demon Lord rarely appeared. Luo Feng couldn't just stroll around there every day, he didn't have the time either. "Track my whereabouts." Yi Zhao's eyes lit up. "Leave this to me. I don't dare speak of other things, but in terms of fighting and killing, I'm average amongst the universe's paragons, but in terms of searching for information, haha." Luo Feng smiled and nodded. For instance, when the experts in the open-air bar were conversing, some of the important information would be shielded from voice transmissions. Therefore, even if one were to stroll around, it would be very difficult to gather too much information. At this point, he had to rely on his connections. Exalt Yuanzhao could be said to be an all-rounder, and he was extremely skilled at gathering information. Naturally, he had a wide network of friends, and could gather a great deal of information. Supremacy Xianhua should be on the primitive star. Supremacy Gu Zhao laughed. Actually, most of the demon race's peak universe overlords roam the primordial stars. According to the news I received, Supremacy Xianhua once appeared on primordial star number 02002 more than 1,000 years ago. However, as you know, Blade He, the pinnacle of the universe overlords all move alone. In the blink of an eye, he left. Later on, as I didn't intentionally gather information on him, I'm not sure either. However, I estimate that he should be on the primitive star. Double quote. Luo Feng nodded satisfactorily. "Then I'll have to trouble you." No problem, no problem. Blade He, if you have such information, feel free to look for me." Yi Zhao patted his chest loudly. He was very clear that the more he could do for Luo Feng, the more he would have to rely on. Right now, everyone in the circle of knights knew that the Ganwu country leader, because of his identity as Luo Feng's son's teacher, he had even repaid his debts to the other knights. His status was obviously different, and he was even more valued by the other knights. "There's no time to lose. Blade He, I'll go gather information now." Yi Zhao smiled. Luo Feng nodded. Yi Zhao immediately vanished from mid-air, immediately making his move. Luo Feng was clear too, to search for an absolute warrior's tracks was a very hard thing to do. If one intentionally hid, just like Luo Feng, even the demon, automaton and bud clans' combined efforts would have a hard time finding him. However, Xianhua the Venerable didn't deliberately hide, and he was even roaming the primitive star. He estimated that after spending some time, he would be able to find him. Until then, I'll continue to train on Circus Island. Luo Feng was confident and calm. That day, his earth body teleported to Circus Island from his god country, where he first immersed himself in training. After staying there for more than 2 months, he left for the land of inheritance for the first time. On Circus Island, there were many palaces. "Look. It's Luo Feng." Luo Feng went to the land of inheritance again. The inheritors of some powers were tasked with the task of monitoring Luo Feng. They immediately recorded the information and quickly sent it back to their clans. In the vast starry sky of the universe, as 3 consciousnesses crossed the infinite space and descended, the surrounding universe space immediately distorted, as though it existed in another dimension. A huge black oval sphere silhouette, a beautiful figure, a huge silver-white snake head surrounded by countless snake silhouettes. Automaton, what's going on? How come Luo Feng is still alive? The faint silhouette scolded angrily. Didn't you say that demon god Void would kill him himself? The silver-white snake head said angrily. When demon god Void broke into the ancestor god sect's territory to kill Luo Feng, he failed and didn't contact the automaton race's father god. As the strongest in the universe, the automaton race's father god was naturally patient. He didn't rush to ask. Instead, he carefully investigated the human race's intelligence. In these 2 months, Luo Feng appeared in Primal Chaos City, but he entered the main residence directly, so very few people knew about it. Even though the automaton race had eyes and ears in Primal Chaos City, they didn't have many, so they didn't discover that Luo Feng entered the main residence and left. Until this time, when Luo Feng appeared on Circus Island, the automaton race, bug race, and demon race finally knew that Luo Feng was still alive. Since I asked Demon God Void to help, you know his temper. Rushing to ask will only make that stone unhappy, said the oval black sphere silhouette. This time I found out that Luo Feng is still alive, so I went to ask him. Just now, I met him and chatted with him. What exactly happened? Asked the silver white snake head. The slim figure stared at the oval black sphere too. The 4 pinnacle races fought against each other. This time, they only formed an alliance because they had a common target, the human Luo Feng. Actually, their relationship was already bad. Demon God Void said that he suddenly descended on Circus Island and immediately used his killer move. However, he didn't expect the Ancestor God sect's dual-faced Ancestor God to stay by Luo Feng's side and secretly protect him. The moment he attacked, the Ancestor God of the Ancestor God sect attacked. Even though he tried his best, he still couldn't kill Luo Feng, said the black sphere silhouette. Ancestor God? Dual-faced Ancestor God? The silver white snake head and slim figure were both shocked. The Ancestor God lowered himself to secretly protect him. The slim figure's voice was incomparably moving. How is that possible? That's the truth, said the black sphere slowly. Demon God Void failed once, so let him attack again, said the silver white snake head. Since he accepted this task and has benefited from us, he naturally has to do it well. And what kind of status does the Ancestor God have? The high and mighty Ancestor God protecting Luo Feng once is fine, but can he keep protecting him? Let Demon God Void attack again. He'll definitely succeed. Double quote. Dream Tea. Roared the black sphere silhouette. The 3 of us combined only have the value of a pinnacle treasure weapon. What kind of status does Demon God Void have? In the Cosmic Sea, he's the most difficult existence to deal with. It's already good enough that he attacked once. And you want him to attack again? If the Ancestor God tries to stop you once, it's fine. But if he tries again, isn't that a clear provocation to the Ancestor God? Do you think the value of a pinnacle treasure is enough to make Demon God Void completely go against the Ancestor God sect? Double quote. But he failed, said the silver white snake head. Demon God Void said, he gave it his all. Even when he unleashed his full power, he was suppressed by the universe. He did enough. It's worth the value of a pinnacle treasure, said the black sphere silhouette. The slender silhouette and the silver white snake head fell silent. Demon God Void's status was indeed extraordinary. As a lone ranger, none of the major powers dared to provoke him. Plus, he had a powerful treasure to protect him. He was even more unbridled and arrogant, just like that smiling but incomparably sinister mountain-sitting guest. All the major forces gnashed their teeth in secret, but they could only swallow their broken teeth into their stomachs. Then what should we do? Luo Feng appeared on Circus Island again. If we invite the strongest warrior in the universe and the Ancestor God secretly protecting him, wouldn't that be a waste of a treasure? The slender silhouette and the silver white snake head had the responsibility of their race, so they naturally didn't want to waste a treasure. The black sphere silhouette said, let's wait first. The Ancestor God might still be secretly protecting him now. But as time goes on, he can't keep doing that. When that time comes, we'll invite the strongest warrior in the universe. Double quote. We can only wait first. Who should we invite next? In my opinion, invite Mountain Guest. He's extremely cunning and has many tricks up his sleeves. He's also very proficient in soul attacks. I think he'll have a better chance than Demon God Void. Double quote. Invite mountain guest. I'm afraid his conditions will be very high. How will we know if we don't try? Let's wait first. After a while, Empress, contact mountain guest. He's the closest to you. Soon, the three of them reached an agreement, and the three thoughts instantly left. This part of the starry sky returned to normal. Circe's Island. It had been more than a year since Demon God Void came to kill him. Luo Feng had finally completely comprehended the 5th level of the Path of the Beast God and had begun to study the 6th level. This study made Luo Feng feel like it was as vast as the ocean, extremely difficult and complicated. The further he went, the more difficult it became. However, after completing the 5th level, his foundation became more solid. This allowed Luo Feng to have a deeper understanding of the secret patterns, and creating secret techniques became easier than before. He easily created a peak-level Lord of the Universe secret technique, which Luo Feng named Golden River. Blade River, I've found Xianhua Supreme's location. A male interrupted Luo Feng's training days on Circe's Island. Chapter 1130 Swallowed Star. Virtual Universe Thunder Island, Luo Feng's study room. A huge screen floated in mid-air with detailed information on Xianhua Knight's movements over the past few years and his current coordinates. Number 02933 Primal Star. Luo Feng revealed a smile. These few years, Xianhua Knight seems to have gained quite a bit. Just from what the warriors of the various races know of, there's already a high-level treasure and close to 10 normal treasures. Xianhua Knight, if you've already returned these treasures to the demon race, consider yourself lucky. Otherwise they'll all end up in my hands. Double quote. Even though his consciousness was connected to the virtual universe, Luo Feng's earth body had already left Bohemia the moment he received the news and returned to his god country. Because, he had to bring the golden horned beast along. This time I'm heading to the Primal Star. Primal Star, even universe lords and the strongest warriors of the universe can't teleport. If I'm discovered and the other races want to kill me, they'll have to fly over slowly. Luo Feng nodded within. The moment he was discovered in other places, the enemies might arrive quickly. However, the Primal Star would have a hard time reaching him. However, it's still a Primal Star. That place has trillions of races and warriors, I can't be careless. This is the battle that will make me famous. Luo Feng went all out this time, bringing the golden horned beast and the Moshe clansmen along. He headed towards the Primal Star. Luo Feng first entered the 03921 Primal Planet and flew alone for about half a day, reaching the Whirlpool pathway to the 02933 Primal Planet. This was the fastest way Luo Feng could reach the Primal Star after careful consideration. Number 02933 Primal Star. Above the vast ocean, there was a huge whirlpool pathway. A tall and sturdy burning silhouette flew out from within. He was about 10 meters tall, his entire body black, every inch of his body was spewing flames. I've reached the Primal Star. Luo Feng looked at his burning body and smiled. He was using the Moshe clansman to rush, and he let the Moshe clansman unleash its natural ability clone, directly cloning one of the universe overlords under the Blood Cloud leader's many life forms. Even though the other overlords weren't bad, those with one head, 2 arms and 2 legs were rare. Luo Feng was still used to his human form. On his back was a battle saber that was about 6 meters long. It was the supreme treasure saber, Bohi. Whoosh! The tall and sturdy figure of flame with a blade on his back flew through the air, over the ocean and into the range of the land. He flew above the vast swamp for about a day before he began to approach the coordinates provided by Venerable Yuan's Hao. I'm almost there. Even though he had flown for a day, Luo Feng's heart didn't waver at all. Luo Feng began to slow down, at the same time carefully observing his surroundings. The coordinates provided by Yuan Zhao Knight were after all the strong warriors from the Hong Alliance had discovered Xianhua Knight's location 3 days ago. 3 days had passed, and there was a high chance that something had changed. He observed carefully along the way. Half an hour later, Luo Feng landed on a small lake in the swamp. His feet, which were surrounded by flames, stepped on the surface of the lake, causing steam to rise from the water. No, he's not here. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. I've already scanned the surrounding area, I haven't found Xianhua Knight at all. Whoosh! Following closely, Luo Feng rushed into the sky, flying at an extremely high altitude and swiftly flying, once again conducting a larger-scale search. After all, it had only been 3 days since the strong warriors from the Hong Alliance had discovered Xianhua Knight. In these 3 days, Xianhua Knight wouldn't have left the primal planet, he should still be in the surrounding area. Luo Feng expanded his search area. After searching for half an hour, suddenly a special energy spread out majestically in all directions, causing Luo Feng, who was searching, to be stunned. He too had roamed the primal planet before, naturally he had experience, immediately determining that this was the energy of a treasure being born. What a strong energy! Very strong. It's definitely a treasure, it could very well be a high-level treasure. I didn't expect that when I came to find Xianhua Knight, I would actually encounter a treasure being born. Luo Feng smiled, following which his eyes gleamed. Right, I've discovered a treasure being born, I've discovered it. If Xianhua Knight is in the surrounding area, he'll definitely discover it too. He'll definitely rush over with his fastest speed, hahaha, double quote. Su. Luo Feng immediately became an arc, heading straight for the source of the energy with extreme speed. It's a treasure, it should be a high-level treasure being born. Quickly. Rush over. Such a strong treasure energy, quickly, with the fastest speed, if we can get it, we'll be rich. Let's hope we're the first to arrive. The energy spread out, those that were closest to the treasure were naturally the first to discover it, those that were further away were the ones that discovered it. Ahead or behind, teams of knights from the various powers of the universe, the Solo Universe Overlords, the Pinnacle Overlords, all swiftly rushed towards the source of the energy. Haha, my luck is really good, I actually managed to encounter a high-level treasure being born, this energy must be a high-level treasure. His entire body was covered in snow-white fur, his back was bent, his face had a huge blood-red vertical eye, his entire body emitted an endless amount of blood energy as he laughed. He was Xianhua Knight. A heavenly wolf that had once possessed a special life form. Back in the clan, to exchange for the White Needle, I've given almost all my other treasures to the clan, I'm really poor. Now that a high-level treasure has appeared, HMPH, the stronger the treasure, the slower it is to appear. If I rush over, I'm afraid it won't even be completely born, this treasure will definitely be mine. Xianhua Knight laughed sharply, simultaneously becoming a beam of light and swiftly heading towards the source of the energy. Teams after teams, either solo or in groups of 3 to 5, all rushed towards the source of the energy. Rumble. Rumble. Violent energy ripples spread out in all directions. Luo Feng hadn't even arrived, he could already feel the intense energy ripples, looks like the battle for the treasure has already begun. And at this time, as the consciousness of the endless dark ocean was constantly connected to the virtual universe, it received the mail that Yi Zhao Knight had just sent. Blade River, number 02933 Primal Planet, not far from the coordinates I gave you, there's a battle going on, there's intense energy ripples, Xianhua Knight is there, and he's currently in battle. He's really there. Luo Feng revealed a look of glee, continuing to fly towards the source of the energy. In the distance was a vast forest, The battle was continuing within. Luo Feng could see with a glance that there were teams of knights floating above the forest. There were a total of 20 knights gathered in mid-air. Luo Feng very quickly flew above the vast forest, gazing down. There were 3 silhouettes below. One was completely covered in snow-white fur, his hands wielding 2 godly hammers. With an unparalleled stance, he wantonly smashed towards the other 2 warriors of the other races. As for the other 2 outsider sovereigns, they were also tall and strong, and they also wielded supreme treasures to fight back. Demon Race Xianhua Knight, 9 Territories Alliances Zoi Leader, 1000 Shadows Knight. Luo Feng gazed below, nodding to himself. No wonder they aren't retreating, so it's 2 universe overlords. Even though Xianhua Knight was strong, he was only strong in terms of life force, as high as 2000 times. Zoi Leader and 1000 Shadows Knight's life force gene levels were 100 times, their strength was obviously 1 level lower. However, just 1 level, their bodies were considered bigger, they were just at a disadvantage. The Zavale Lord walked the path of a fighter, while the 1000 Shadows Venerable walked the path of a spirit reader. If the 2 joined forces, they would definitely be able to put up a fight. They didn't hope to defeat Xianhua Knight, they just hoped to be the first to get their hands on the treasure before it fully appeared. Right now, the high-level treasure was already more than halfway out. It was a completely blue godly hammer, the handle was already completely exposed, the head of the hammer was slowly floating up. Elite Universe Overlord, and 2 Universe Overlords, the treasure must have been obtained by one of them. What bad luck. If it was just 1 Universe Overlord, we could still fight, but there are 3, and one of them is an Elite Universe Overlord. The other alien race venerables in the sky shook their heads helplessly. They didn't dare to get involved. Zavi Overlord and the 1000 Shadows Venerable could withstand Supremacy Xianhua's attack, but they, the Universe Venerables, would die if they tried. Luo Feng floated high in the air, gazing down. Who is that? I don't know, but his energy is strong, and he's a Lone Ranger. He could very well be a Universe Overlord. Looks like this Universe Overlord is waiting for an opportunity. The other knights discussed. They were clear, in this fight for the treasure, from the level of the battle, they didn't even have a chance to interfere. Zoi Leader, 1000 Shadows Knight, the 2 of you want my treasure too. Xianhua Knight roared, his blood-red eye was incomparably mad. The treasure that has appeared this time is the godly hammer. I use it, it should be mine. If the 2 of you push me too far, don't blame me for not showing mercy. What big talk. Even though the 2 of us aren't your match, to kill us, dream on. Why would the 2 of us be afraid of you? Zavelida and 1000 Shadows were also incomparably frenzied. Zavelida went to block time and time again. 1000 Shadows unleashed a spirit weapon that transformed into thousands of images, covering the sky and earth, crazily tangling with Xianhua Sage. Xianhua Knight could only use his huge hammer to attack again and again. Zoi Leader and 1000 Shadows Knight weren't anxious at all, they were waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the treasure to fully appear and immediately snatch it. Time passed minute by minute. The 3 of them continued to fight. The other knights in the air could only watch, not daring to interfere. Luo Feng too watched quietly. Soon, the treasure is about to appear. Zoi Leader and 1000 Shadows Knight's eyes gleamed. 1000 Shadows, the last chance, it's up to you. Leave it to me. 1000 Shadows Knight's eyes were filled with madness too. When it was time to fight, one had to fight madly. Treasures were obtained by fighting. The 2 of you are dreaming if you think you can get it. Xianhua Knight roared as he walked towards the treasure again and again, not wanting to stray too far from it, but Zoi Leader and 1000 Shadows Knight's attacks were too strong, causing both sides to retreat each time. And at this time, Luo Feng slowly descended. The treasure has appeared. It has appeared. The group of knights in the air were all excited. Hua! Venerable Shyanhua, the Lord of Zavai, and the thousand shadows Venerable moved at the same time, and a figure pounced down from mid-air.